Happy Independence Day and week from Explore Tulsa. To start the show, we celebrate our freedom on the lake.
Then breakfast downtown.
Followed by Decopolis on the move.
Plus summertime flashback.
Hi, I'm Stevie Fernandez.
And I'm Trish Whitmer, and welcome to this week's Explore Tulsa,
where we have left no stone unturned to search for a cool spot outdoors to start the show.
For most, that would mean spending time out on the water.
So we called on Ray Austin of Austin's Fishing Adventures to take us where the fish are biting and the water keeps us cool.
It's just more of a challenge for me. You know, it doesn't stop me from doing what I love to do or being able to help people. But again, if it's worthwhile, you know, what's hard got to do with it? My dad started taking me fishing back when I was so small that he would have to carry me around on his neck. Really, I fished all my life, and then as I grew up and got older, I did the same thing with my son. You know, a lot of times we'd go crappie fishing, and I have a minnow bucket in one hand, rods in the other, and bobby around my neck. You know, I just believe that, you know, outdoors is probably one of the best conducive environments for a young person to learn about life and actually be active. So something I've done all my life. Grand Lake is actually an excellent fishery. It has one of the best growth rates in the state on catfish, and that's due to the microplankton, which is what your shad base feeds off of. We have a tremendous shad base in this lake, probably one of the best white bass lakes in the state, and I still believe it's the world's best fishery for spoonbill. And again, that comes back to the microplankton, because that's what the spoonbill eats. I'm also an avid hunter, and so as I was getting on my deer stand, October 10th of 1992, I had a limb break on me and I fell 30 feet. And so I just, literally I blew up T10 in my back. I mean, it's called a T10 burst fracture, and that's because you hit so hard that tiny fragments of bone explode off of those vertebrae and went into my spinal cord, and it, you know, when I do something, I generally do it good, and I really done that one right. I lost my dad last October, and my dad loved to fish. And after I started guiding, I told him at the funeral that, yeah, my dad taught me to fish, but I taught him how to catch fish. I started guiding about 10 years ago. I just got so much enjoyment about, you know, taking friends and family out and introducing them to things that they couldn't do otherwise. And then I got hooked up with a guide here on the lake, and he thought I would make a good guide. And so he helped me get started. And then when he retired, I bought Dempsey's Guide Service out. You've got to be good with your people. You know, you want your people to come out and have a good time. You know, that's a majority of what you're concerned with, is keep them safe and let them have a good day, but then put them on fish. The stress of that, I don't think people really understand, because somebody's paying you to catch fish. They're not really paying you to take them out on the boat. They're paying you to deliver. And so that's a lot of pressure. But that's what I love about it. It's a challenge. You know, I can go out and catch fish, you know, whenever I pretty much want to. But to take somebody that's not used to fishing and get them on a fish and show them how to have a good time and get them hooked on fishing, that's more rewarding to me than the money. I've really got a soft spot in my heart for kids. So some guides don't want kids on their boat. I encourage them. You know, I encourage my kids on the boat. I charge half price for the kids. Just to, it solves two problems. The customer doesn't have to worry about getting a babysitter, and the kids get to have a good time. So getting them outdoors and get them hooked on fishing. And then, you know, a lot of times, you know, my customers, I get to watch the kids grow up, you know, and get married and stuff. So that's really rewarding too. home for me. You know, this is just kind of where I belong, what I love to do. But when you take what I grew up doing all my life and then add people into that to where I can help people too, kind of hard to beat that, right? You know, that's kind of the best of both worlds.
That Ray is one impressive guy. Even after losing the use of his legs, he still finds ways to make the most of life.
To book your next fishing adventure, visit fishgrandlake.com and Ray will set you all up.
To see more of all the fun available out at Grand Lake, visit rsu.tv, select the Shows tab, and watch Living Grand on Grand Lake, or catch it each Thursday at 7 p.m. on RSU TV.
Now, before you head out to Grand Lake, you might want to stop for breakfast at our next stop.
Ooh, and when you see the meals that Executive Chef Michelle Donaldson is serving up at Bramble Breakfast and Bar, you're never going to want to leave. Hey, it's Stevie from Explore Tulsa with my friend and optometrist for many years, Dr. Robert Zellner. Tell everybody why it's so good to come in to see you.
Well, that's a great question. Let's see, we've got 2 great locations. We try to stay cutting edge at every point along the way because let's face it, everybody wants to come in and get taken care of in a timely fashion and get the latest, greatest stuff and save some money and get on with their life. And see clearly.
And if you don't believe it, look on the website.
Absolutely, drzellner.com. You can find that we have our 2 locations at 69th and Memorial and 3030 South Harvard, or you can give us a call at 749-2020 or 461-2020.
And I got 4 kids, and I got to tell you, as a big family like that, it's affordable too.
Oh yes, and of course, the number one reason, you save some money. I mean, with our 2-pair specials, with our different unique packages that we put together, I mean, you can come in here and your money can go a lot farther than anywhere else.
And that's why with Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates, seeing is believing.
Oh, I like that, Stevie. Well done.
Send me some love.
Look at us. We woke up one morning with every song that ever mattered to anyone. So now what? Music's meant to be heard, out loud, where your life happens, where you dance, where you love, and where you live. When everyone has every song ever written, what matters most is how you listen.
Come hear for yourself at Video Revolution.
Hello, we're excited you decided to stay with us for even more Explore Tulsa. Now, Stevie, are you a big breakfast person?
Not if I'm making it myself. When I cook in my jammies, the grease from the bacon burns the hair on my legs.
That's probably a little bit too much information. But you're in luck because Executive Chef Michelle Donaldson has some amazing recipes. And all you have to do is stop in. You still might want to change out of your jammies though.
Bramble came about a year and a half after we opened Tallgrass. We really needed to expand the kitchen and we wanted to bring a whole animal butchering program into the fold of Tallgrass. I grew up in Tulsa. I'm actually from Denver, Colorado, but we moved here when I was a small child. Tulsa's always just kind of been my heart. I've traveled and lived all over the world. I went to school in Las Vegas. I stayed out there for about 4 years. I got my training at the Wynn, which is a 5-star, 5-diamond establishment. Eventually, my husband and I moved back to Tulsa, and I've always had the idea that I wanted to open something that would showcase Oklahoma, utilize and sustain the communities throughout Oklahoma, and put forth my talents to the best of my ability. We needed an outlet for more utility cuts. You know, when you get a whole steer in, it's not all ribeyes and tenderloins. And so we decided to open the Bramble as a way to showcase and utilize those things. So we have a $7 smash burger over here that uses a utility grind as opposed to our $15 burger at Tallgrass that uses a very specific brisket and short rib grind. So I also had always wanted a breakfast restaurant. Breakfast is one of my favorite things in the world, and it's one of the things that I most enjoy going out to eat. So we decided to do breakfast, and I took my inspiration from breakfast around the world and put all my favorites on one menu. So probably the biggest one that we're known for that people have are maybe most not familiar with is something called hachapuri, which is a Georgian dish from the country of Georgia. And it's basically a pull-apart 5-cheese egg bread. And so it's just this beautiful, warm mass of bread, and in the middle of it is warm egg yolk with a beautiful 5-cheese kind of fondue. And you just pull the bread apart and stick it in there and eat it. It's a wonderful thing to share at your table and discuss, and everybody tries to say the name, and usually they don't say it right, and it's just a lot of fun. For us, it's the backbone of both of our businesses. Our goal is to sustain the community of Oklahoma as one, generally. We're sustaining 2 small businesses here, but in doing that, we're also sustaining 10 to 12 different farms and ranches. We butcher whole lambs, whole steers, and whole hogs. We get whole steers roughly 3 to 4 times a year. You have to consider that that's about 800 to 1,000 pounds at once. But whole lambs and whole hogs, we do that generally every 6 weeks. So with lambs, it's roughly 300 to 400 pounds, and we'll go through that in 6 weeks in several different ways. And then whole hogs, sausage, bacon, the same, and that's generally about 500 to 600 pounds. We go through a lot of pork here. I have a tremendous team of people that really help support both sides, and they believe in what we're doing very strongly, and they work very hard to help us sustain that vision. I think they're just as inspired as I am by where we live, what we're doing, the food that we're making, and they want to keep this going as Tulsa keeps helping us sustain our business.
That fondue bread and cheese and egg dish that she said nobody ever pronounces correctly looks amazing, but I'm never going to try to say that.
To see it for yourself and several other items on their menu, visit BrambleBarTulsa.com.
One of my favorite places to go gift shopping has a new location.
Ooh, that's right, Stevie. William Franklin moved his shop and studio just down the street and offering more fun than ever before. And Decopolis is our next stop when Explore Tulsa continues.
Our most beautiful 4K HDR TV. Easily manage your cables for even a clean rear look. It hangs flat on the wall, just like a piece of art. Yet its slimness creates astounding images. Experience new discoveries with Android TV by getting instant access to everything you need. Introducing the latest Sony 4K HDR TV.
Hello, I'm John Erling with Voices of Oklahoma. Our great state has been home to countless individuals whose place in history has been earned through each of their many accomplishments. Voices of Oklahoma's mission is to preserve their story in an oral history presentation like none other. Accounts direct from famous Oklahomans, political figures, and many others who have left their indelible mark on the development, history, and future of Oklahoma. So please, treat yourself by listening to those who are the voices of Oklahoma.
Now, I know it's only the beginning of July, but here at Explore Tulsa, we think it's the best time to get started with Christmas shopping.
Christmas shopping in July? Are you out of your mind?
Lots of people shop early. It's a great idea for budgeting and to not get yourself all flustered up during the holidays.
For me, I have a go-to shopping place to find all kinds of cool and hard-to-find items. Decopolis has a new location too, offering more than ever before.
Walt Disney is one of my idol, or somebody I look up to in what he did. And one of the things he always says is that it all started with a mouse. This is still part of a bigger dream. And what I'd like to do is eventually have it more of an entertainment focus. because we started off and just had a little booth in a flea market at a River City Trading Post in Jinx. So that's where we started out, over in there. I love to dream big, and this is just a little start to something. We're kind of starting with the retail side, and as we make it more entertaining and interesting, and we'll start to tell the stories and develop the characters. Like one of the characters is Lindy Hopper, and she's a little girl who lives in Sand Springs during the 1920s and 30s and comes into Tulsa on the trolley and has all these big adventures when it was the Magic Empire and everything. So that's some of the stories and things I'm working on. And then you see the Atomic Tiki Room that we have. I'm writing a little storybook and you know, a coloring book and stuff to go with the characters that you see in the room there. So it's, you know, this is just a start to something. Well, we are pretty much becoming a bookstore for downtown as well. And we didn't intend to start off selling books, but we had a lot of, you know, I guess the coffee table books and little fun and quirky books and things when we were at the other location. And we just kept selling because everybody was saying, oh, you can't sell books anymore, books don't sell. And then we kept selling them, so we're like, hey, we just keep adding more. And then so when we came over here, we've really amped up that aspect. So we're kind of like a bookstore in a way. And then, of course, we have a lot of kids' toys and things in there. Again, that wasn't something we really expected, but another thing I'm thrilled about. I mean, just as, I guess, a nerd like myself, to have a bookstore is really kind of cool. We're just thrilled to have, I mean, we've got dozens and dozens of local authors. You know, they'll come in and say, we'll buy 2 of your books. So let anybody know that, you know, if they want to have a book that's in a store and you're a local author, we're proud to have it here and try to, you know, support you and get the word out. And then we have some of the bigger names like S.E. Hinton and Michael Wallace, and, you know, have their books here and things like that. And then, of course, if there's local artists, we like to do art shows and stuff here too. You know, because now we have the space in this bigger space. We can have their paintings up for a while and promote them and do that sort of a thing. Yeah, we just started the Dusk in the Deco District events here, and we just had our first one yesterday. And that's kind of the group of the Deco District people here, the different merchants and the restaurants and even some of the developers and the building owners have chipped in to do these events, and we're trying to do at least one every month. And this kind of brings attention and interest to our area of downtown. You always get all the buzz about the Guthrie Green and stuff like that, but we think we have a lot to offer over here too, and there's, with all the new, or the older buildings being refurbished and turned into lofts with retail and stuff on the ground floor, this could be an incredible area. Like I say, if you dream really big, the great thing about it is, no matter how far you get, you're always at the beginning. And you know how it is when you start a project, that's the easiest part or the most exciting part. So if your dream is big enough, you're always at that fun, exciting part. So the big dream is, it may sound crazy, is to almost have like a theme park. It's an Art Deco, retro themed type theme park thing. And there's different iterations of that, so to speak. I could have multiple shops in an area of downtown, say that could be another step. Or if we get our own property somewhere, and even maybe have it in conjunction with the Art Deco Museum. So, you know, you have this beautiful Art Deco buildings and stuff like that, and then we're kind of merged in around with them. So there's all kinds of ways to do it, and who knows how it'll come out, but to have that direction and to be thinking in mind of like the different ideas and different departments, even in the store, that could be their own standalone stores, their own little attraction and thing.
Man, I like the way William thinks. Trying to build his own Disney World. We should do an Explore Tulsa land. There would be like Trish characters running around the park late for the show, spilling lattes from their Starbucks cups. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, that sounds like a bundle of laughs. If you'd like to see more of what William has going on at his new place, visit Decopolis.net.
You know, we stopped for breakfast earlier, and I think it's about time that we start thinking about lunch.
I do know of a fun place that serves up some of the best burgers in town.
And Frank and Vicki Arnold are a blast to visit with too.
So next up, we'll stop back in time to reveal happy days at Arnold's when Explore Tulsa continues.
For over 33 years, Video Revolution has been Tulsa's headquarters for all the best name brands of cutting-edge electronics. The experts at Video Revolution can put it all together for that ultimate home theater experience. Video Revolution on the northwest corner of 71st and Lewis for Tulsa's best team of qualified sales, service, and installation technicians.
Hello, and thanks again for continuing with us on Explore Tulsa. You know, there was a time in my life when I thought all I ever needed to survive were hamburgers.
Well, there is a little more to a well-balanced diet than just that. But when you do decide to go for a burger, the perfect spot in Tulsa has to be a place that's been home to great burgers for over 30 years.
We got the 50s music and the neon and of course on top of our sign up there it's got the big A. You saw that on the top of the Arnold's drive-in on Happy Days. So it's got that theme that runs through it.
I want to tell this story.
Okay.
Well, we was having a hard time. We thought of Frankenburger. What was the other one?
Well, because I was in the coney business.
Yeah.
We thought
Frankenburger, yeah.
Hot dogs and
yeah,
burgers.
Get it, Frank. And then we just couldn't seem to settle on something. And so I remember us driving down I-44, and I thought, oh my goodness, we're overlooking the obvious. I mean, our name is Arnold, and at that time, you know, Happy Days was pretty big, and so. We just, there it is, Arnold's from Happy
Vicki
Days.
thinks I'm the Fonz anyway, so there you go.
Well, keep thinking that.
Before Arnold's, I actually worked in the restaurant business. Go back to my high school days, I actually went to school right here, not very far from here, Webster High School. And while I was at Webster High School, I worked at Carl's Coney Island, Crystal City. And I worked there for 5 years. Then at 21, I bought a Carl's Coney Island out toward Catoosa, owned it for 5 years, got out of the food business for 2, got back into this. We opened this up in 1986, February the 28th to be exact, 1986.
We wasn't really planning on opening until the next day. Got over here, the workers got all done, the city had approved everything, and so we just said, let's just open the doors.
Yeah.
So we took the key, we unlocked it, and I mean, people just started driving in, and it was like we ran from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock, $600.
Yeah, and that was,
oh my goodness, that was more than we ran in a day.
Just by unlocking the door,
yeah,
and so no advertising, and we didn't even know we was going to be open that evening. So,
at the Coney Island, we wouldn't run that all day.
From there on, it just took off, and so here we are 30 years later, and we serve a lot of people every day, and quality is what my main ingredient is. Well, I can't tell you the secret recipe, but we use the highest quality ground beef. It's ground fresh every morning right here locally at the largest meat company and processor in Tulsa. And they deliver it on a daily basis. And yes, as a matter of fact, I spoke to that owner today and we discussed that. He said, we've got another product that other restaurants are using that's cheaper and you could save a few cents there. I said, no, I want the very best. They call it the Cadillac of ground beef. And that's what we serve. Matter of fact, Carl Kennedy owns Carl's Coney Island. He's the one that gave me my first job, and I just kind of watched how he took care of customers and talked to them and treated them. They were just like friends coming in, and so I learned from that. And then just by watching, I'm a quiet guy. You can tell why. She does all the talking for us most of the time, but so I like to observe and just watch people, and when I go to restaurants, I'm always watching how people respond and how the service is. And so I've just taken little bits and pieces from my background and going other places, and that's how I've tried to fashion our business and take care of our customers. I tell my employees, every customer you're waiting on at that moment is the most important customer we have that day.
Yeah.
The next one, that's the most important person. So if we do that one at a time, we build a business.
It's kind of ironic. When I was a kid, you could not fill me up on hamburgers. And had I known I was going to grow up and marry me a hamburger man, I would have been in hog heaven my whole childhood.
Oh, that's cowhead.
Oh, Lord. This is why he's quiet. And we have second generation people that have that their parents brought them in when they were little kids. And now we've got them coming in with their little kids. And it's neat to see customers, you know, go from generation to generation.
Oh my gosh, Arnold's has some of the best burgers. We have to go back after the show.
To try Arnold's for yourself, look them up on Facebook or stop by their place at West 51st and Skelly Drive.
Hey Trish, here's a fast food funny for you.
Okay, all bites.
Why did the rooster cross the road to KFC?
I don't know why.
See a chicken strip? Get it?
Stick around, we'll be back with more Explore Tulsa.
Hi, Dr. Robert Zellner here. For over 20 years, I've offered affordable, convenient eye care in Tulsa. Right now, you can get one pair of glasses or contact lenses starting at just $99 or my two-pair deal for $129. Hey, and as always, the eye exam's included. Walk-ins are always welcome. Glasses are ready in about an hour. Plus, we have over 2,000 frames to choose from. We're open 7 days a week. Come see why we're voted Tulsa's best. And our drive-thru at 69th and Memorial makes pickup simple and easy. For the best eye care value in Tulsa, Dr. Robert Zellner & Associates.
Have you outgrown your home entertainment system? Then it's time to step up with Video Revolution and Sony for the ultimate 4K home theater experience. Size does matter when it comes to the quality and enjoyment that you get from a home entertainment system. Engineered by the experts at Video Revolution on the northwest corner of 71st and Lewis.
Hi, I'm Dana Wilson of the Cat Shack in Bixby, Oklahoma. This is Bear, and you're watching Explore Tulsa.
Be sure and join us next week when we visit with Dr. Robert Zellner as he introduces us to A to Z Medical, providing Oklahoma with the latest in CPAP sleep technology.
Special thanks to Ray Austin for keeping the fish biting at Austin's Fishing Adventures.
Well, thanks too to Executive Chef Michelle Donaldson for introducing us to the tasty menu at Bramble Breakfast and Bar. And thanks to William Franklin at Decopolis for sharing his dream with us to build an Art Deco theme park in T-Town.
Also thanks to Frank and Vicki for keeping those famous Arnold's burgers a favorite stop for burger lovers everywhere.
And remember, if you ever miss any of the show, you can catch us at exploretulsa.com.
As always, each week we feature the people, places, and attractions that make us proud to call Tulsa our home.
And hey, don't forget to like us on Facebook. Share with us someone you think Tulsa should know more about.
Plus, remember, Explore Tulsa is brought to you by Video Revolution, located on the northwest corner of 71st and Lewis.
Stop by so LaRon and all the guys for all of your home entertainment needs.
And Explore Tulsa is also proudly brought to you by Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates.
Home of the $99 deal, get one pair of stylish glasses and an eye exam for just $99. Plus, he has 2 locations, 3030 South Harvard and 69th and Memorial.
Well, that's all the time we have for you on this week's show, but we'll see you next week right here on Explore Tulsa.